is started.
I'm out to call back.
Alrighty, it's time for Clubhouse Chatter here at Erickson Studios. Here's Norm.
Well,
And
good
Josh.
morning, and Josh. That's right. We have the 9-inning know-it-all sitting in with us this morning on Clubhouse Chatter. And we have a guest. His name is Jim Wohlford, and Jim played 15 seasons in the major leagues. He played for the Royals, Brewers, Giants, and Expos. From Visalia, California. Jim, how you doing this morning?
Very good this morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So did I pronounce your name right, your last name right, Wohlford?
Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
Sweet. So you played with some interesting players during your career.
Well, I saw a lot of great players. Saw Roberto Clemente. We played a spring training game against O and the Tokyo Giants. Saw Nakashima, the third baseman. Yeah, I saw a lot of great players. I was very lucky and played with some great. Saw a lot. I played in a great era of baseball when it was just a lot of great players.
Yeah, you played in the era when I was growing up, and man, I remember the 1978 Top cards, and they had that little game on the back, the base on balls and stuff like that. I must have been, 9 or 10, but yeah, you played in a great era of baseball. And do you have a first of all, who was the toughest pitcher you had ever seen that you have ever faced?
Well, the only pitcher struck me out 4 times when I played AAA. I jumped from A-League to AAA. I was drafted out of Angels out of high school, and they offered me $16,000, an 11th-round pick. And
wow.
I went to junior college one year, was All-American. The Royals drafted me in the winter phase and made me a good offer. And they told me I was going to push me as fast as I could. So getting back to the pitcher, J.R. Richards, when I played AAA, struck me out 4 times. He was a great pitcher. He threw a 93-mile-an-hour slider. He was about 6'8", 6'9". In fact, if I would have hit 5 times, I would have struck out 5 times. He had dominating stuff. Nolan Ryan, he had great stuff. He's talking about guys that are just unreal. I mean, Nolan Ryan threw close to 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Back then, it was, today it's a different game, but still, you're talking about some of the greatest pitchers ever lived. I mean,
Yep.
I saw.
So you're not the first to bring up J.R. Richard. In fact, I was chatting with Brett Butler one day, and he said that J.R. was probably one of the toughest guys that he faced. And one, he was so big and intimidating coming off that mound, and then he threw that fastball. And
Well, a lifetime, I think he was 16-1 or 16-0 against the Dodgers. They could never beat him. Gene Rod, unfortunately, he is the kind of guy could be in the Hall of Fame, but Hall of Fame players play long careers.
Right.
And but he had that kind of stuff. Nolan Ryan. Wow, I got to beat him one night. I got 3 hits off him in Anaheim, beat him 2-1. Next time he hit me with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, almost broke my rib. So back then, pitchers weren't afraid to knock you off the plate and send a message that, this is the real deal. You know what I'm saying?
So in today's game, is there a pitcher that kind of reminds you of J.R. Richard or a Nolan Ryan?
Well, there's some good arms today. Strasburg, when he first came up, before he had arm surgery, had that kind of stuff, or if he's on, But the one thing you have to think about Nolan Ryan is he was a power pitcher from the beginning to the end.
Right.
There won't be many people like that. And he used his legs, like Tom Seaver, they use their legs very well. And there's just not many people like that. I mean, Roger Clemens. Yeah, Roger. I hit off Roger Clemens in the spring training. He was as close to Ryan, but he's not pitching now.
Right.
So what can I say? I mean, you got more teams now. You got 30 teams instead of 24 when I played. There's 150 players in the big leagues that wouldn't be in the big leagues when I played.
Right.
See what I mean? So I think it's kind of watered down a little bit.
Right.
Personally, that's my opinion.
Right, and I've heard that. We've heard that before as well. Who was the greatest player that you have seen? Whether
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, hands down.
hands down, the greatest pitcher, Sandy Koufax, no problem. That's not even. Doug Harvey, who I know, I played with in an era where, I played with a lot of great players who played against Willie Mays. I saw Willie Mays as a kid. Doug Harvey, in the Hall of Fame, there's only 8 or 9 umpires in the history of the game, and he said, "Hey Jim, I saw them all. Sandy Koufax and Willie Mays, no doubt."
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's not even everyone. Bill Mazeroski, Frank Howard, anybody I asked, they said the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, now we got a whole different game. You know what I'm saying. I mean, guys are bigger. Artificially. I mean, we played when there was no weights, and you know what I'm saying. It was just different every game.
Right. So now let's talk about a few of the players that you played with, and
Well, I got George Brett. He made me an outfielder. Back then you had 1-year contracts. The minimum was $15,000 when I came to the big leagues, and they basically told me that he was going, and he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. So I had to learn to play the outfield. So fortunately, I could run, I could hit, and my problem, I wasn't a power hitter, so I was a line drive hitter. But I was lucky. I got to adapt. And baseball is a game of adaptation. Hitters got to adapt, and George Brett's the greatest hitter ever played with. The guy is unbelievable. I mean, he's a real deal. I mean, that's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Right. What about?
I saw him at 19 years old.
Wow. What about Sal Bando?
Sal Bando's a great guy. I played with him in Milwaukee. Great leader, quality man. I played against Oakland A's when they were really the Oakland A's. When they won 3 World Championships. The Royals, we had a good team, but we finished second. There wasn't a wild card. There was only 2 divisions, so we went home. I had Catfish Hunter. They had 10 great pitchers. They had Sal Bando, Campy Campaneris, Gene Tennis, Joe Rudy, Reggie Jackson. I mean, and great pitching. Raleigh Fingers closed. I mean, they had 10 guys throughout that pitching staff. And, nothing against the A's today, but a lot of those guys wouldn't be playing on that team.
Right.
I'll tell you right now. Huh?
Let's,
pitching.
Right. How about a name that a lot of people really don't know? Lynn Sakata, who's the
I play with
manager in San Jose now, and I know Lynn personally, and I love Lynn. What was Lynn playing with?
Lynn was a gamer. I played with him in Milwaukee, but when I went with Milwaukee, they had Don Money, Robin Yemp, Paul Mahler, Jimmy Gantner, Cecil Cooper. I mean, we had a great team. One year, we won 100 games and finished 10 games out.
Jeez.
The Royals won 110 games.
Wow.
So, the Brewers, we had a great team over there, but, the Royals were, really good ball club. So, no, getting back to Lynn, he went back from AAA to the big leagues, it was tough back then. There were a lot of good players.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of room.
Yeah. And how about another one that a lot of people don't know about? They know about him here in Salem-Keizer area because he was a manager of the Volcanoes, and that was Joe Strain.
Joe Strain?
Joe Strain.
Oh, yeah, I played with Joe. Joe's a good guy. I think he's scouting with somebody.
I think he's with the Giants still. Yeah, I think he's still with the Giants.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Good guy. Good solid role player. Knew how to play the game. I would imagine he'd be a great scout. He was a quality person. And, again, the game, Harmon Killebrew told me when I first came to spring training, he says, Jim, it's not getting to the big leagues, it's staying.
Right.
The hardest thing is not getting there, it's staying there. And it's a hard deal because there's always someone coming up. They're signing kids every day.
Right.
Want to take your job.
So you mentioned the killer. What about Harmon Killebrew? Tell us a little bit about him.
Oh, Harmon Killebrew was a great guy. He quality act. The 2 of the nicest people I probably ever played with was Harmon Killebrew and Vada Pinson. I played with both of them. I really believe Vada Pinson should be in the Hall of Fame. He has 2,700 lifetime hits, one of the fastest. Still today, him and Mickey Mantle, like 3-2, 3-1 to first base. Come on. Guy's a great player. But very quiet. But getting back to Harmon Killebrew, gentleman, I got to hit extra with him in the morning. Was very nice to me, and just a truly a gentleman. They both were. I mean, I was very fortunate to play with both of them. And Harmon had, fantastic power. I played against him when he was with the Twins. The Twins had Rod Carew, Tony Oliva. I mean, come on. I mean, Rod Carew, like I said, he's the best bunt I ever saw.
Right, and you and I had that conversation the other night about Carew and Brock, and gosh, some of the best bunters ever, and it's kind of a lost art now.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with baseball. I think you ask, Billy Hamilton. Yeah, Billy Hamilton is quick. He's probably one of the quickest guys I've ever seen. Heck, if he hits 250, he can steal 75 bases. But if he bunts like what Brett Butler did or Rod Carew, he'll hit 300. I'd have him out there bunting. And honestly, if he hit 80 ball in the air, I'd have a game with him. I'd find him $1, and every ground ball I hit, I'd give him $1.
Right.
He just got to learn how to handle the bat, and you take advantage of his speed.
Right.
That's what I tell him.
On the phone with us, we have Jim Wohlford, who was voted by RoyalsReview.com the number 86th out of 100 of the 100 greatest Royals. Number 86. That's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, considering I moved positions. Looking back, I was a second baseman, but we had Frank White. I kind of look at that. If I would have stayed in the infield, you never know the way I hit. But I wanted to play in the big leagues, and moving the outfield, I was lucky I could run, and I had to make myself an outfielder. So the Royals, I'm proud I got drafted by them. They gave me my first opportunity. I'll never forget that, and it was fun. We had great players, a great team, and I was fortunate to play as long as I did. But honestly, I love the National League better. I thought I became more valuable in the National League.
Nice. So what was it like for playing for Frank Robinson?
Frank was all right. Frank's a smart guy. He was a great player. He knew the game, and him and I got along. And he always asked me to work because I took batting practice. He watched me. He says, "You take batting practice as good as anybody. Where'd you learn that?" Well, I learned it in the Royals. They taught me how to play. So no, he was smart. I played against him, and then he was the player manager when he was in Indian. So he's a great player, he's a good manager, and still in baseball involved. So he's done a lot of great things in baseball.
What was the best advice that anybody had ever given you?
Well, my dad said three things to me. Don't let anybody outwork you, outthink you, ever quit. And I really believe that. And Frank Howard used to tell me, Jim, if you quit baseball, you're going to quit in life. And baseball isn't once a week, it's every day. And I learned to show up ready to play every day and to work very, very hard. I tell young kids today, if you don't love the game and willing to put in the time, don't do it. Because it's really, really the ultimate grind.
Right.
When people play 3 times a week or 4 times, when you get into professional baseball, it's a whole different thing.
It really is. Working in the clubhouse, I saw it. I saw it from a totally different view, and it has changed my thought on the game. I mean, I love the game. But, watching it from a fan standpoint, to actually being in the clubhouse and the 144-game grind, 162 if you're in major leagues, I mean, you're playing almost 200 games by the time it's all said and done with playoffs in the major leagues. It's a grind.
You respect somebody who plays a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what it takes. And I wasn't a star, so I'm out of over 17,000 or whatever in history of major leagues, I'm one out of about 940 played that long.
But like I said, you hung around. What? You hung around for 15 seasons.
Yeah, they don't keep you around because they like you.
That's right.
But I was like a 6th man on a basketball team. I could hit off the bench. I could pinch hit. I could double switch coming to the game. One game when I played Pittsburgh, I went 4 for 5. It was 16-inning game.
Wow.
I mean, that's why I love the National League, because you always were ready to play.
Right.
I knew I was going to maybe get in the game. That's what in the American League. I don't like the DH. I'm sorry, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I wish all the pitchers had to pitch. Had to hit. So that's what I like.
So you played with a ton of Hall of Famers. Is the voting for the Hall of Fame, is it broke? Does it need to be retooled?
The Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I played with Pete for 4 months. I believe, yes, I think, okay, even Ty Cobb got away with stuff that, listen, the guy, if you look at his record, it's never going to be broken. I mean, I don't think his record will ever be broken or Joe DiMaggio's.
Right.
56 straight games. I really don't think they will. I don't think guys are going to play that long. You got to get 4,000 hits, play 20 years in a row, 200 hits a year, just to get to 4,000.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? So, you know what? What's going on today in the game, where players are cheating the game, I just don't. I think something's wrong. I really. That's my opinion.
Right.
I don't like what's happening today. I think there's. I hate to say this. There's a lot of guys getting away with a lot of stuff. The money's bigger now. You see, these guys are huge. I've been on the field. They're huge.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I could have played at 215. I lifted weights for 10 years, only gained 10 pounds. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can't gain 40 pounds.
There's...
Nomar Garcia-Pera left high school at 130 pounds. He played at 200.
Right.
Okay?
And so there's some talk, I know, with the PEDs and everything, people will go back.
Oh, come on. It's way more than people want to know. Way more.
Right.
Way more. Pitchers, hitters. But you know what? With the money, 60, 80 million, what are you going to do?
I mean, can you blame them? Yeah. I mean,
no, I hate the money is crazy. I'm not blaming anybody, but the technology is ahead of the testing.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. You can't. Could you catch Lance Armstrong? No. He won it 7 times in a row. They never caught him 1 time.
Right.
What I have a problem is not the superstar Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. They're Hall of Famers, but the average guy, the Brady Andersons that hit 51 home runs. Come on. Are you kidding me?
Sammy Sosa.
Come on. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But it's the game, People want to come, you talk about bunting, they don't want to come see people play little ball.
Right.
They want to come see home runs.
Chicks dig the
hey,
ball,
you know what? So be it.
Yeah.
But it's an advantage, believe me. Big time. And your recovery factor, Ken Caminetti, if you remember him, he came out and was honest about it.
Right.
He hit 350, hit 45 home runs, drove 150 runs, was MVP. He'll tell you how good it was.
Yeah. And see, that's my deal, is I totally understand, why guys do it. But, if you get caught, be honest about it. Don't,
Well, do they want to catch everybody? I don't think they do.
See, you very well could be right about that. I mean, it's made. It's made
honestly,
baseball a lot of money.
do they really? I mean, just enough to be. You got to really be to get caught today. You got to really. I think. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Not my deal, but a lot of these people that are aren't going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And if Pete Rose can't get in, they shouldn't be getting in.
Yeah, I agree. Pete belongs. I definitely think he's.
I mean, come on. The guy played. Look at his record. I mean, he played every day.
Yep.
Today, you might not even sign him. He can't run. He can't throw. Look at him. I mean, you talk about a grinder.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
But I tell you what, what happens is baseball's missing him in the game.
Right.
See what I mean?
Yep.
I sat next to him. I learned a lot from the guy. See, that's where you learn from players. And not having him around, to me, is like Jack Nicklaus not being around in golf. I mean, come on. You want to be next to that guy.
Right. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show today. And
all right, no problem.
We would love to have you come back on sometime again. And
no problem. I have no problem. Games, no matter what they do, they can't hurt it.
Absolutely, that's
it's still
true.
a great game, and you still got to be able to play it.
Right, and
and remember, I always tell people, you can fake coaching, but you can't fake playing.
That is true. That is true. Once again, we have Jim Wohlford, number 86 on the top 100 of Royals all-time greats. Jim, thank you for coming on.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.